Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the crystal amulet pendant. And so I've been looking at amulets lately, like online in museums and vintage amulets and such. And so in medieval days, an amulet was worn to like protect the wearer against something or bring good fortune to the wearer. So they would wear the actual stone against the skin so its magical powers could get through. So of course I'm using crystals here. You can use stones. And let's say you had a peridot. So I'm saying this is like a peridot. And that would be like bring prosperity and good fortune. And an aquamarine would protect you if you're going on a long voyage by sea and a ship. So, you know, people would wear them just to have that protection and that benefit. Okay, so that's a lot of history on the amulet. So this is the one I decided to make. I'm using a 10 by 14 millimeter Octagon fancy stone and a 13 by 18 millimeter. Now, if you have the Wildflowers collection from Eureka Crystal Beads, you have a bunch of these 10 by 14 stones. So you could actually, instead of making a pendant, you can make a bracelet. So what if you just put several of them together, like so, you know, the small ones, you know, put 6 or 8 of them together. Wouldn't that be pretty? Just make a bracelet. So you don't really, you know, there are a lot of options here. Or you could do one big stone in the middle and 2 smaller stones on the outside. But I love the idea of putting several in a row. Anyway, so I'm going to clear this off, get a materials list going, and we'll get started. So it's a long video because we're doing 2 bezels, and then we're attaching them and doing the bail. So I'm going to put timestamps, you know, in places so that you can skip around and get started again. All right, so let's get started with the materials list. Get materials list going. So you'll need one 10 by 14 millimeter Octagon fancy stone, or several if you just want to make that just bracelet with just a bunch of stones. Now these, I think, are from the Wildflower collection, Eureka's collection, and I think you get 6 stones in that. I used one, the green one, on the pendant, but you can just make a bracelet in all different colors. Wouldn't that be pretty? And here are some 13 by 18. I believe this is from Potomac Crystals, but I could be wrong. I'll check out and see. Or it could be Eureka. I'm not sure. I'll check out and see. These were gifted to me, this gorgeous color. I have absolutely no idea where they came from, but if I can find them, I'll link those down below as well. You need a Delica, so I'm using a gold Delica. I'm using an 11-0, and this 11-0 is a Czech Coating 11-0, so it's a Miyuki with a Czech coating. It's Aztec Gold, and I love that matte coating on it. You can use any 11-0. 15-0, and then 2 colors of Delicas to go with your gold or metallic Delica. So, of course, on the pendant, I used some of these pretty sort of lime green ones, and then I used this pretty aqua one. I will try to find this file. I will find those and link those down below. You'll need some 8-pound Fireline. I'm using black satin. You can use 6-pound as well. I've got a needle case filled with 10, 11, and 12 size 12 beading needles, just in case I need, you know, a different size. Stop bead, we'll pop that in. And if you want to do this chain, so this chain is that 2-bead spiral chain. I will put a link to the video where I made this chain. It's on the Trine Pendant video, and I'll put a timestamp where the chain starts so that you can go back and make this chain if you want to, or you can use this pretty ribbon. I love it on a ribbon, any chain that you like. All right, so let's get started. So thread your needle with about, I'd say 3 feet, 3.5 feet of thread. Put on a stop bead, leave about a 15-inch tail because we'll use that tail in a little bit. So I picked up and dropped down to my stop bead 44 of my Delicas, and I started with a gold right there, and I ended with my color. So that's what it looks like. So we're just going to sew those into a circle by sewing through the first bead after the stop bead. Like that. This is what I had so far. And now we're going to do a little peyote. So we're going to pick up the color now. I'm exiting the gold, and I'm just going to sew through the next gold bead. And if you're using all one color, you're picking up a bead, skipping a bead, and sewing through the following bead. Like that. Make sure that bead pops up on top of the previous bead, like that. And do that again. Exiting the gold bead. I'm going to skip the blue or the green, your color, and sew through the next gold bead. Or pick up a bead, skip a bead, sew through the next bead. That's 2, so I have 2 of my colors on. Do it one more time. Sorry, I'm a little clumsy with that finger. So exiting right here, skip the next one, sew through the following one, like that. And now I have 3 of my Delicas on. Let's continue. So next up I'm going to pick up an 11-0, and I'm using this, that Czech coating bead, but you don't have to use that bead. Just use your metallic 11-0 or whatever 11-0 you want to use. So exiting, I have on my 3 Delicas, I'm exiting here. I'm just going to skip the next one, and I'm just going to put an 11-0 right there. Make sure that pops up on the previous bead. So we're doing the corners now. Picking up another 11-0, exiting this Delica, skip this one, sew through the next one, or just sew through the gold. Like that. And now I have what's going to be the top and one corner on. Next up, we're going to go back to our colored Delicas, and we're going to add 4. So exiting the gold, just going to skip this one, go through the gold one. So that's 1. So we're doing the sides now. 2. 3. And 1 more. 4. So say now we have the top, we have 1 corner and 1 side, and then you're going to add 2 11-0s. So peyote those on, exiting here, skipping one, sewing through the next one, pick up an 11-0, sew through the gold one. So now you can see that I have, this, it's starting to come into shape. So I have 2 corners on. So you're going to add 3 more of your color Delicas, 2 more of your 11-0s, and then you're going to do 4 of your color Delicas, to come all the way around. So I'll just go around, I'll put on my 3, put on 2 11-0s, and I'll start up this way, and then we'll come up here and we'll step up together. Finish the last bit with you. So I put on the 3 color, the 2 11-0s for a corner. Then I'm working on my side here. So I've got 2 Delicas on, 3, and 4. Do this. There we go. Ouch. That's a little bit. And then we're going to do the corner, an 11-0, through the next gold Delica, and then just straighten my beads out a little bit. Be careful you don't get too twisted and twist around too much. And then my last 11-0, I'm going to step up. So I'm exiting here, skipping this one. I'm going to sew through the next one and then the one on the diagonal. So that's going to bring me back up to the top. Just like that. See that? So I've kind of stepped up and finished my corner. So when I hold it, I'm sorry, I'm so clumsy. Like that, do you see how I'm getting this? And I kind of push it into shape. I'm getting this little sort of rectangular shape going on. So that's kind of how it's going to fit in there. All right, so get to this point. You've stepped up and then come back and we'll continue. Let's add another round on. So we're going to go with the gold Delicas now. So we're just going to pick up a Delica You're exiting your color. You're just going to sew through the next one. Pick up a Delica, sew through the next sticking out bead. Picking up a Delica, sewing through that 11-0. Now you're going to pick up an 11-0 and you're going to pop it in the corner, so through the next 11-0. And you're just going to continue that all the way around. You're just using your gold Delicas or your metallic. Like that. So we're just going around. And when you get to the corner, it's here, now I'm at the corner, you're just going to pop in one 11-0. Right there. Okay, so just continue that all the way around and we'll step up together. A little note here, so as you're going around, when you come to the corners, you can kind of put your thumbnail in there a little bit just to give it a little curve and give it a little pull. You don't have to pull it, super tight. You just want to keep this, just snug and, just fluid though. You don't want to pull too tight. But you see, I just pull a little bit with my thumb is in the corner. So it's just kind of helping it into shape. So here, we'll just finish the rest of this together. Here, so I'm coming to my corner. Let me just move my tail thread out of the way. Picking up my 11-0, popping it through. So here's my last corner. And then we have one more Delica to put on. So here we're picking up the Delica, the gold one. I'm going to be skipping this one, sew through the next one, so the blue, and then the gold one on the diagonal. And now I've stepped up and I'm ready to put some more beads on. What I have so far, so I'm exiting, one of the gold Delica here. So now I'm just going to put that needle aside and I'm going to take my stop bead off and go to the other side and thread, thread a needle onto that thread. And the way, you can tell if you get mixed up on what side you're on is we're working on the side right now that has all the color Delicas as the last round, and this is here where we were working, and this has all the gold Delicas as the last round. So you'll be exiting this gold Delica right here, because this is the tail thread, and you've got to move this thread from this gold Delica to the outside. So exiting here, you just want to sew through this bead right here. So just to get our thread to the outside, like that. Okay, so we're going to do some decreasing. So if you notice, we're exiting this color Delica, and we are right under where these three 11-0s are. So here's the center 11-0 with these two on the side. You're going to immediately decrease by sewing just through the next Delica. So from this Delica to this Delica without any beads on your needle. So you're decreasing in that corner like that. And then we're going to add 15-0s. So take your 15-0s and start adding a 15-0. And see when I pull it, how it pulls that corner in a little bit. So that's what you want. So you want to add a 15-0 in between each sticking out Delica. Like that. Let's keep going. You want to go until you get to the next corner, and then we're going to decrease there as well. So here we are, we're just there. So here we go, putting in our last 15-0. Give me a little pull, and then we are at the point where these three 11-0s are above us, and then you're just going to decrease here. So you're exiting this Delica, you're just going to sew through the next Delica, and it's a good vantage point, like to show you where you're going to do your decreases. It's always going to be right here. So there, and I'm just going to give it a little pull. You see it? It's going to pull those two Delicas together and give us a decrease. So you're just going to keep doing that. Come all the way around with your 15-0s till you get to here, above these, below these 3 11-0s, and you're just going to sew from this one to this one without any beads on your needle, etc. Go around, and then meet me at the end, and we'll step up together. Okay, we're coming down to our last side. Just do this with you. So we're just going to sew through. So the last, this guy is going to go through here, like that. And then you're just going to sew through the next Delica. So you're stepping up, but you're just like this. So you're going through this Delica. So that's where the first decrease is right there. And then the 15-0 on the diagonal. Like that. And this is what we have so far. Flip it around again and put some beads on the other side. Now you can use either side as the front or back. The way I'm doing it, this is going to be the front. We'll be putting another round of Delicas of 15-0s here in a minute. But first I want to get this side done a little bit more. So you can do either one as front or back. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how you put your stone in. All right, so here I'm going back to the other side, and I am exiting the gold Delicas here. So this is the side that has all the gold Delicas. We're going to put some 15-0s on here. So we're just going to do a round of 15-0s through each sticking out bead, like that. And when you get to the corners, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to put a 15-0, come through that 11-0, 15-0, come through the next Delica. So you see, and you're going to pull that in a little bit. So that's what it looks like. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Just put a round of 15-0s on. And then I'm pulling in, see, I'm pulling in a little bit. And so I'm just going to let you go off and do that. So that's all you're doing is putting that round of 15-0s, and then we'll step up at the end. Coming down to my last bead. So I just did my corner here, put the 15-0 on, exiting this Delica, I'm picking up a 15-0. I'm going to sew through this Delica and then the 15-0 on the diagonal, and this is what I have. Here's our bezel so far. So we have this side, which for me is going to be, it's going to be the front for this video, and you can tell because the color Delicas are the last round of Delicas on this side, and on the other side the gold Delicas are the last round. So I'm going to pop my stone in, and I'm going to put it face down, and I'm going to make sure that my corners that I made here coincide with the edges of the stone itself. So see, they're right there, and I'm exiting a 15-0. I'm going to put a round of 15-0s on, but I'm going to do a little decrease. So I'm exiting a 15-0. I'm going to put on a 15-0, pick up another 15-0, put that one on until I come to the corner. So here I am. I'm at the corner now. Instead of putting a bead there, I'm just going to skip right over and with no bead, sew through the next bead like that. And then I'm going to pick up a 15-0, come down the side like so. That. I'm coming down to my corner again. I'm just going to sew through the next 15-0. No beads on my needle, and pull that in. And then you're just going to do that all the way around. And then maybe at the end, we'll step up to my last corner. So I'm just going to, so I'm exiting this 15. I'm just going to sew through the next one without any beads on my needle, like that. And then pick up a 15-0. Sew through the next, sticking out 15-0, and then the last one, we're just going to pick up our 15-0, sew through this 15-0, and then the one on the diagonal to step up. And this is what I have so far. Okay, so get that done, come back, and we'll continue. Okay, this is what I have so far. So I'm going to flip it over again. And I'm going to work on this side. So this is my front, obviously. I'm just going to pick up a 15-0. I'm exiting this 15-0 here. I'm going to sew through the next 15-0. I'm just going to do that until I get to my corner. So it's 1, 2. Another one. And another one. So here I'm at my corner now. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s. I'm exiting here. I'm just going to hop over, skip everything and hop over to this next 15-0. Do you see how that gives me the corner? So I'm actually mimicking the shape of this, this octagon shaped stone. Do that again. 15-0. Another one. Another one until I get to the corner. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s. Just exiting here, just hopping over to that next 15-0. So putting 2 15-0s in the corner to get that little shape going on there. So you're just going to do that all the way around. So keep adding your 15-0s till you get to the corner. And then you're going to put 2 15-0s in the corner. And then you're just going to meet me maybe sort of around here and we'll step up together. Coming down to the end, so picking up 15-0, I've come to the corner. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s and I'm going to just skip over to this one and then through the next one on the diagonal to step up. So just like we've been doing all along, we're just stepping up over here. And now I have that shape going on the front. So you are done with the front now, and we're going to work a little bit more on the other side, and then we'll be done with this bezel. It's been our last round on the back. So picking up a 15-0, exiting here, this 15-0, I'm just going to sew through the next 15-0. That's going to bring me to my corner. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s. And I'm exiting here. I'm just going to hop over to this one to make the corner on this side, like that. And then I'm just going to continue adding 15-0s until I get to the next corner. So here I am. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s, exiting here, just going to hop over to this one, so skipping the 15-0, 11-0, 15-0, sewing through the next 15-0, and that's going to give me my shape on this side. So just go all the way around and meet me at the end and we'll step coming down to the end. So I'm doing my corner now, so exiting this 15-0, just hopping over to that next 15-0, like that, get my corner in. Then I'm going to pick up a 15-0 through the next one, and then I'm going to pick up a 15-0 and I'm going to step up. So sewing through this one and the one on the diagonal, like that, and now I'm all set. So the bezel's done now. Now if at any point it's loose or you can't fit a bead in, because as I've been saying lately, that all of the, the stones, some are thicker than the others, some are thinner than the others. So you can always fit, do something in the corner. So if you can't fit 2 in the corner, put 1 in the corner on the back. Or skip a bead and pull through, in the corner. So you can play with that because they're all different and you never know. Some are, like I said, some are thicker than others. So here's the front. Here's the back, or vice versa, and you're just going to sew these threads in, and then we're going to clip them off, and then we will continue on. Okay, so here we're done, and I've sewn in all my threads. I've added a thread, and I'll show you where in a second. So here, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So add a thread, make it maybe 15 inches. We just need to go around and do these corners, and you want to make sure you are exiting one of the gold beads in the corner. So here are the two. Here's that one here. You want to exit right here. I'm going to pick up a 15-0, an 11-0, and a 15-0, and I'm using a regular sort of shiny 15-0, and then that Czech Coating 11-0, and then a shiny 15-0. Exiting here, I'm just going to sew through this guy. You want to make sure before you move on that you make that into a little corner, like a picot, just like that. Okay, now we're just going to work our way to the next corner. So the way you're going to do that is you're exiting the 11-0. You're just going to sew on the diagonal, right? So here, so this Delica, careful you don't get caught like I just did. And then this one, and this one, this one. So you're sewing on the diagonal, you're just going through the beads just so that there's no thread showing. So this just keeps the thread from showing. If there's something you want to put in between, like stitch in the ditch, you can. Just make sure, like you can put a little 15-0 or an 11-0 or whatever you like. You can put a little picot in the middle. Just make sure that you leave one side open so that we can sew the two units together. So you can do as much decorating as you like. Much or as little. You know, I'm sort of, I'm pretty simple when it comes to doing this sort of thing. I don't do too much embellishment, but you can embellish as much as you like. So here I'm going to come through this one or this one, it doesn't matter, either one, and then through the 11-0 on this corner. Then I'm going to pick up a 15-0, my 11-0, and another 15-0, and I'm just going to sew through that next 11-0, and I'm going to make sure it turns into a nice little corner. So see, that's how we're getting these corners on. So you're just going to do that all the way around, just going to work your way. Oh, I got to cut that, burn that thread off. Work your way to the next 11-0, put the corner on, next 11-0, put the corner on, and then meet me back here and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So I finished all my corners and this is what it looks like. So we've got these kind of points in the corners and, you know, it gives it it looks like a nice little package. All right, so you just want to sew this thread in. And as I said, if you did want to put, you know, some sort of embellishment on the sides, just leave one side open so that we can attach the two units together. So you can put, like I said, you can do a stitch in the ditch around here. You can actually come in the middle and put a little 11-0 bicone 11-0, you know, whatever you like. But I kind of like it simple. All right, so get that done, come back, and we'll work on the smaller stone. Okay, let's start the smaller stone. So the technique is the same. The bead count is different, but everything else is going to be the same. So thread your needle with about 3 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave about a 15-inch tail. So I picked up and dropped down to my stop bead 36 Delicas this time. So 36 for this stone, and I've alternated. I started with gold. I'm going to sew those into a circle. Just like that. Okay, so I've got my 36 Delicas on. I've made it into a circle. I'm exiting a gold Delica. Now I'm going to pick up my color Delica. So for me it's this green one. Exiting the gold, going to skip the green and sew through the gold. And if you are alternating like I am, every time you pick up a green one, you're just going to sew through the next gold one. So I've got one Delica on. I'm going to put another one on. So exiting here, skip this one, sew through the next one. Now I've got 2 on. Then I'm going to pick up my 11-0. So this is going to be the top. I'm going to do a corner now. Picking up an 11-0, just put that one on. So sewing through the gold bead. Picking up another 11-0, sewing through the next gold bead. So that's what's so easy about alternating. And now we're going to do a side. So we're going to pick up our green Delicas again. So exiting here, again skipping one, sewing through the next one, or just sewing through all the gold beads. I'm going to put on 3. Just like that. So now I've got a top, a corner, one side. Now I'm just going to let you finish the rest. You're going to put on another corner. Then you're going to put on 2 of your green Delicas, put on another corner, and put your 3 green Delicas on this side. So you'll have 2, 2, 3, and 3. And then maybe back here, and we'll step up together. Okay, coming down to the corner. So I'm going to put on 11-0. And please excuse the little furry thing to my left. We have a new fur baby in the house, and he's not quite understanding that he can't be on my beading table. So my last 11-0 is in the corner. So we're going to step up right here. So exiting here, skipping this one, sewing through this one, so the gold one, and then the green one on the diagonal. And I will move him in a minute. And this is what we have. So we've got, just straighten that out a little bit. We've got 2 Delicas here, 2 here, 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and then we have the 4 corners. And, you know, that's where we're going. Okay, so you'll be exiting the green Delica. Now we want to put some gold Delicas on. So picking up a gold Delica, I'm exiting here. I'm just going to sew through the next sticking out bead, just a Delica, sew through the next sticking out bead with the next gold one, which is going to be that 11-0. Now in the corner, we're going to add another 11-0 between these 2. So just through the next sticking out bead, and then back to my gold, down the side. Like that. And then when you get to the corner, you're going to put 11-0, an 11-0 in there, like that. And then you're just going to continue all the way around, making sure that you put your gold Delicas, and then where you have the corners, you're putting an 11-0. And maybe at the end, and we'll step up together. Just a note, as I go around, I'm putting notice my thumb is in there, and giving it a little pull inward like that. See, it's starting to curve. You don't have to pull it super tight. Just, let it curve around your finger a little bit like that. All right, so continue around and meet me at the end, and we'll step up. Coming down to my last corner, so I'm putting an 11-0 right here. And then I'm going to pick up my gold Delica, and I'm going to sew through this green one, and then the gold on the diagonal to step up. And now we're ready to put some more beads on. Okay, this is what we have so far. So I'm going to turn my piece over now to this side, and I'm going to work on this side a little bit. So this side, I'm not saying front or back because it really depends. You can make either side the front or back. So this is the side where the green Delicas are the last row of Delicas, and the other side is the gold Delicas are the last row of Delicas on the bezel. So you'll be exiting this gold bead right here. So you want to get this thread to the outside, so you're just going to sew through this green one, like that. So what we're going to do here is immediately decrease. So I'm exiting this green bead, and just, we're going to, this is our corner right here, with the 3 11-0s, you just want to decrease right there. So you're going to just sew through the next Delica without any beads on your needle. And that is going to cause those beads to pop in a little bit. And that's our first decrease. Then you're going to start putting some 15-0s on till you get to the next corner. So 15-0. Another 15-0. we're at the corner again. So you're going to decrease. So where these 3 beads are, so you want to decrease right here. Exiting this green one, just hop over to the next green one without any beads on your needle. Get that in there, like that. And a little pull, and you see how you're getting corners now? So you're going to do that all the way around. Add your 15-ohs till you get to the corner, do your little decrease, again, do your little decrease, and meet me at the end and we'll step up together. Okay, coming down to the end, so I'm going to pick up my last 15-oh. I'm going to sew through that next bead. And now I'm in the corner, so I'm just going to sew from this Delica to this one, so this green one, thread is coming out, sew through this one, and then the 15-oh on the diagonal to step up. So you're stepping up right there. So decrease, step up. And this is what we have. Okay, this is where we are right now. So I'm going to flip my piece over again. So this is going to be the front for me right here. So when I put my stone in, you know, that's going to be the front. We're going to add another round of 15-ohs here. But first I want to work on the back a little bit. But you can make this side the front too. It doesn't really matter. So here I am on what is the back, or on the other side for me. And I noticed that this stone, this is a Krakowski stone, is a little bit smaller and less and thinner than the stone on the original piece, which I don't have right in front of me. But it will still fit. We'll just, you know, we'll just pull tight. So we're on this side now. I'm going to pull tight. We're exiting a Delica. So we're going to put on 15-ohs now. So we're just going to pick up a 15-oh. Sew through the next bead. Pick up a 15-oh. Sew through that corner bead. You're just putting 15-ohs on all the way around. So no decreasing at the moment. We're just going to add 15-ohs. So just add a 15-oh in between each sticking out bead until we get to the end, and then we'll step up. Okay, I'm at my step up now, so picking up a 15-oh, exiting this gold bead, I'm going to sew through the next gold Delica and then the one on the 15-oh on the diagonal, and then I've got a round of 15-ohs on there. Okay, so now we are done with that round. And we're going to put the stone in. So I'm putting my stone face down because I'm making this the back. And you can see it's a little bit big, but I don't think we're going to have a problem making it fit. So we're going to add some beads here now. So we're going to add another round of 15-ohs, but we're going to do a little decrease in the corners. So picking up a 15-oh, sewing through the next 15-oh, like that. And then I'm going to just sew through that next 15-oh without any beads on the needle. So that way I'm going to pull it in a little bit over there. And then I'm just going to continue down like this. And I'm pulling inward a little because this stone is a little bit smaller. So you see what happens when I pull in? It kind of pulls the whole bezel back a little bit. And it makes it fit better. So I'm just going to continue to do that till I get to my next corner. And then I'm exiting here. I'm just going to sew through that next 15-oh without any beads on my needle to bring in the corner. So just do that all the way around and then we'll step up. Okay, I'm coming around the corner, so I've got my corner there, and I'm adding a 15-oh and then one more 15-oh, and I'm going to step up. So 15-oh. I'm going to sew through this 15-oh and then the one on the diagonal. It's going to step me up. That's what it looks like. Okay, we're going to put another round of 15-ohs, a last round of 15-ohs here on the back, but I'm going to flip over to the front again first, and I'm going to put my last round on the front. So you're exiting a 15-oh right here. So we're going to pick up 15-oh. I'm going to start sewing through each sticking out 15-oh. Till we get to the corner. So that's 1, 2, there's another one. like that. And then you're going to pick up 2 15-0s and you're going to sew through this one. So exiting here, just going to sew right through that next 15-0 with 2 15-0s on my needle. And that's giving me my little corner. Picking up a 15-0, sewing through the next 15-0. Again. Now I've reached my corner again, picking up 2 15-0s, exiting here, just hop over to this 15-0 and put 2 15-0s in that corner. Oops. Giving it a little pull as you go. And we're just going to continue that all the way around, putting on 15-0s, 2 in the corner, 15-0s, 2 in the corner. We'll step up. We'll do this part together. Okay, coming around and finishing up here. So putting on a 15-0, that, and then I've come to my corner, picking up 2 15-0s. I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew through this 15-0, just like we've been doing, and then the one on the diagonal to step up, finish off this round. So here we go. Here's the front of the bezel is finished. I'm just going to move this thread out of the way by sewing through some beads on the diagonal, going through the Delicas like that, and then we're just going to tighten it up by putting some beads on the back. Okay, so now we're on the other side, and I'm exiting this 15-0 here, so I'm exiting right where I want to put 2 beads. So we're really just doing exactly on this side what we did on the other side. So I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s, exiting here. I'm going to hop over to this one. And then I'm just going to add 15-0s and pull it in if you're using, this stone. One more. And now I'm at my corner again, picking up 2. Just popping right over like that. I have those 2 on. And like I said, whether this is the front or the back, it doesn't really matter. So then you're just going to continue on, putting 2 in the corner, and meet me at the end, and we'll step up together. Let's add our last couple of beads on. There's 1, and then I'm going to step up. So exiting here, I'm going to sew through this one, and then I'm just going to go through the 2 corner beads like that, just to sort of make everybody even there, and then I'm just going to move this thread over like this. And here's the back, or if it could be your front, and here's the other side. This is the side I'm going to use as the front. Now, if you're this stone, I mean, it's fitting pretty nicely. It's a little bit smaller than the other one, but I think it still looks very pretty. If your stone, if you feel your bezel is a little bit loose, you can take one of your threads. So, I've moved the thread over to the Delicas, and you can just sew around the Delicas a little bit, and add some thread in there if you feel that you need it. But I think that's looking pretty good. So here you go. Here's your 10 by 14 millimeter octagon stone bezel. Okay, we're back, and here's our bezel, and I think it looks great. And we're just going to embellish this exactly the way we did the larger stone. So I'm not going to do it here. I'll put a timestamp in the description box below the video if you want to go back, but I'll just talk you through it real quick. You're adding a thread, you're exiting this 11-0 in the corner. So here's your corner, right? So you're exiting the 11-0. You're going to put on a 15-0, 11-0, 15-0, sew through this one. You're going to work your way through the beads on the diagonal, so there's no thread showing until you're exiting the next corner. Putting on a 15-0, 11-0, 15-0, sewing through this guy. You're going to work your way around to the next corner, do the same, work your way around to the next corner, do the same, and finish it off, and then you will be completely embellished, and we can make a pendant. Okay, we're back. So we're going to put on the bail now, and then we'll sew it together. I just think it's easier to put the bail on first. So this is what it looks like. There's just a couple things. You can put a drop on, which I think looks really pretty. And you can leave off, or you can leave off the corners. You don't have to put these corners on. You could just do it rounded, sort of like a rounded square, just like that. So really have lots of options. Or, you know, as I said before, you can make this the front. So you can play with it. You can also do a little, you know, embellishment instead of the drop. You can put in, you know, a little bicone here, 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 you know, on the sides, you know, any stitch in the ditch, anything you like. All right, so I'm going to put this guy aside. I'm going to thread my needle with a couple of feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave a tail to sew in. So I'm going to look for my last round of Delicas here, which are these gold Delicas. So here are the yellow, the green ones. Here are the gold ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to sew through this one on the end. So here you have a gold one here and a gold one here. So I'm sewing through the end one, like that. Just placing my thread right now. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to use the green ones, just so you can see what I'm doing. I would use gold, but you can, you know, whatever you like. But I'm just going to do this for the sake of the video. So exiting this gold one, I'm going to put a green one on. So going through the next one. So that next gold bead, like that, and then again through the next gold one, like that, and then we're going to do like a little odd count turn here. So I'm going to pick up another green one. I'm exiting this gold bead. I'm just going to sew through, going this way. See how I'm going through the top of this, that last green one? I'm going to make sure this bead pops over. It straightens out. So then I have a bead. See how I have another one? Now I have a bead next to, a green one next to this one. So the way I'm going to move around is I'm going to sew through this gold one. We're just going to move our thread so we're coming out of the green one. So I'm going to go through this gold one. This is the only hard part. And it's not really hard. It's just, you're just weaving around that one. Then I'm going to go up this gold one, right there. Make sure it goes into place. And then up this one. Pull, there we go. And then I'm going to sew down through this one. And that's going to set me up for putting more beads on. Let's add some more beads. So I was just thinking, what if I just alternated and put the gold here? So exiting here, put a gold one here, and a gold one here, like that. And then we're going to go back up. Going to pick up a green. I'm going to sew through this one. And then another green one. Through the next one. And then I'm going to do my last green one, and we're going to do that odd count turn. So here, exiting this gold one, I'm just going to sew through this green one, the gold one, and then the green one on the diagonal. So these 3 beads, and you'll see how that's going to put this in place. So like that, but you've got to pop this over. Make sure it sits right. See, just like that. And then you want to come out this bead. So I'm going to sew through. I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew through this green one. This gold one, and then the green one on the diagonal, so here and here. And then down this one. And that's what we're going to do. And I like alternating it. This worked out actually. So I'll just pop you through one more time. Gold one. Gold one. I'm going to go back. Green, 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 picking up a green. I'm going to do that turn again. So you're exiting the gold one. I'm just going to come in this direction. I'm just going to sew down these 3 beads right on the edge there. Green, gold, green. I'm going to pop this over like so. I'm going to sew up through this green one next to the green one I'm exiting. Through this gold one above it, and then the green one on the sort of a little bit on the diagonal, and then down this one. And that's where you want to always be to add more beads on. So this is what it looks like, and I actually love it this way. So you're going to keep doing that until you have a piece that's long enough to fit around whatever chain you're using. And you could make it fit perfectly and just be a necklace, or you can make it a little bit bigger so that you can take the pendant off depending on the size of your clasp. So I did mine, let me look at my piece. Here's my piece. Mine is about, I'd say it's about 3/4 of an inch before I attached it to the other side. All right, so get that done, get that little bit of bail done, and then come back and we'll attach it to the other side, and then we'll put the units together and we'll have a pendant. Okay, so I'm done with my bail, and now I want to attach it to the other side. So the way I've ended is I have my 3 beads at the end. So I have the 3 green ones. If you were doing the gold, you'd have 2 gold, but I want you to do the 3. All right, so make sure you are situated like so. Let's attach now. So I'm exiting this green bead up at the top. I'm going to sew through this gold bead right there on the bottom, so this one. And then I'm going to go back to the green bead in the middle, right there. And then I'm going to go to this gold bead down there. And then through this green bead right here. And I'll just put this in and sort of to show you the thread path. So see, we're kind of zipping up. Okay, so let me take this out, and you'll be pulling yours, of course. So when I pull, that's what it looks like. So I want to attach the ends. So I'm exiting this green one. I'm going to sew through this green one. And I'm going to come across again. I'm going to sew through this gold one. Like that. Through this green one. Through this gold one. Through this green one. Now I just want to attach this green bead to this green bead, so I'm going to go through this one. And then I'm just going to continue to sew around a little bit. So you want to sew through another bead and see how that's secured it now. And then just work your way around a little bit and reverse direction, and then you just can clip that thread off and you have your veil going. Okay, let's make this into a pendant. So we're going to sew these 2 pieces together. So I've threaded my needle with about 1.5 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, leave enough of a tail to sew in. So I'm working with these back 4 colors. So the blues, I'm just gonna sew through that end blue one. And I'm going to pick up an 11-0, and I'm going to sew through the end green one on the smaller pendant, like that. And then I'm going to pick up another 11-0, exiting here. I'm gonna, so this is where my thread was actually coming out. I went around through the green one, and now I'm gonna sew through the next blue one, like that. Otherwise, so a very simple connection, just like so. And now I'm gonna move down to this bead. So I'm just going to sew through the beads on the diagonal. Like this till I get to the blue one. But I want to go through this blue one first. And then up through this blue one, because I want to come in this direction. So just like that. I'm going to pick up an 11-0. And I'm going to sew through the green one on this side. Like that. I'm going to pick up an 11-0. And I'm going to sew through the blue one right here. So then I have the beads on all correctly, you know, going in the same direction. So this is what it looks like. And then just going to give it a little pull on both ends like that. And you've got your connection going. Now you're just going to go around and reinforce so the connection is nice and tight. So I'll do that off camera, and you just do it, you know, you're just going to work your way around, go through the beads again until it's nice and snug. And you'll have sort of a door knocker type of connection, which is, I think, really pretty. So it moves a little bit. All right, so get that done, come back, and we'll finish up. Okay, we're back and we're done. So I think they came out great. Don't forget, if you want to be able to remove your pendant, make it a little larger. I can't take mine off. I made it slightly too small. And if you want to add a drop on, all I did was I just came through just these two center blue Delicas in the back. I just came through one. I added a 15-0, an 11-0. I came through my drop, I added an 11-0 and a 15-0, and just came through the next little Delica bead, just there, and then I sewed it in. Very simple, adding, you know, way of adding a drop if you want to add the drop. Okay, so here you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one, but we did 2 bezels, so it takes a little bit of time. So I hope you make this, post it on Facebook, make a bracelet, you know, by putting another small one here, or use a bunch of small ones. You have them if you have the, what was it, the Wildflowers collection? You've got like 6 of them. Put 6 in a row and make just a bracelet, just all of these small octagon stones. Anyway, lots of things you can do with this. All right, so I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.